On the Tome 9 charm named the Trickster concert ticket, you can see a QR code which you can scan. This takes you to the official All Kill trailer on YouTube. Many legendary characters have unique voices, such as Chris, Claire, Lisa, and Sybil. However, the ultra rare Bubba Yaga skin for the Huntress has her own lullaby entirely. A set of numbers are repeated throughout Jonah Vasquez's lore. These numbers are actually coordinates, and will take you to a location in Chile if searched. There are many unused perks within the game. These include Artifact Hunter, In the Dark, Overconfidence, Tough Runner, and Underperform. The effects of these perks are unknown, all aside In the Dark, which would adjust your terror radius based on the number of survivors remaining in a trial. Occasionally a tile on the map Lery's Memorial Institute can spawn with a cow in one of the medical beds. Splinter offerings were offerings that would allow you to play killers you did not own. These were later retired due to an exploit. These are referenced in some charms, such as the Shock Splinter, mentioning their sudden removal from the realm. The artist now joins the spirit as the only characters who have not killed anyone prior to their time in the realm. Whilst affected by Doctor's madness, the entity's voice can be heard, whispering to the survivor. This is one of few times you can hear the entity speak. Bubba's in-game stance is likely based on a behind-the-scenes set photo from the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Dead by Daylight Mobile features many things the main game doesn't even have, such as XP offerings in the form of tea, postcards, chalices, and dolls. In the time leading up to the 4th year anniversary, the artwork was shown, featuring an oddly shaped 4. This led to theories that the upcoming killer was Pyramid Head. Others suggested Candyman, due to the gold honey color. The 4th year anniversary shape was then revealed in the stream to be a reference to Pyramid Head. There is an unused map in the game files, which is part of the Haddonfield realm, named Facility. This is likely a test map, but is possibly a scrapped map, based on the facility that Myers was kept in. At the end of Trickster's Mori, he says the words, "thank you," in Korean, reinforcing the performance element of his character. Midwich Elementary has the highest kill stats, revealed in a Q&A stream, and is also interestingly the smallest map in the game. Further, the least played killer was shown to be the Twins, with a 1.15% pick rate, and the most played killer was shown to be the Huntress, with an 8.01% pick rate. Nia Carlson's tag, Mashtyx, could be a hint to her possible burning down of Crotus Pren Asylum, the word Mashtyx being an abbreviation and stylization on the words matchsticks, used to light fires. When Ash Williams is hooked, his metal hand appears far longer than his regular one. The Wraith was originally going to carry his bell around with him, however it caused some issues and so it was removed, with the in-lore meaning being that it was an invisible bell, and so couldn't be seen. Some survivor characters are taken at their possible moment of death, some of the more obvious ones being Bill and Tap, as licensed characters. However, there are also multiple original characters this applies to also. Elodie had been stabbed and was likely going to bleed out before being taken, Jane was in a possibly deadly car crash, and Adam in a possibly deadly train derailment. Despite Hillbilly apparently having superhuman speed when he enters a chainsaw sprint, his sprint speed of 9.2 meters per second is over a whole second slower than that of the 10.4 meters per second of Usain Bolt. The only speed that exceeds this is that of the Demogorgon's brief shred speed boost, being a whopping 18.4 meters per second. Where with other blighted skins for killers, a single vial of blight can be seen, on the Pyramid Head skin we can see a total of 2, possibly due to the Pyramid Head's high power, shown through his unique relationship with the entity. This further suggests that Blight is the most powerful character in the realm, managing to subdue even Pyramid Head. The devs have stated that the iridescent shards contain lots of vitamin D, but also large amounts of sugar. Many of the realms are not direct representations of the actual locations, but are instead altered by the entity in order to produce more emotion. For example, the map Sanctum of Wrath features a destroyed Oni statue that did not really appear on the Yamaoka estate, but was placed there to anger the Oni. Further, the Temple of Purgation is stated to be entirely created from the mind and memory of the plague, explaining its strange location within the Red Forest, and slightly tattered appearance. The short battery life of the flashlight is suggested in the flavor text to be down to the previous owner's wasteful use. The flavor text for the Toolbox also suggests that it was possibly owned by one of the killers. The most likely being Hillbilly, who has the perk Tinkerer. On every Yui Chimera cosmetic, her lucky pink hachamaki can be seen in some form, sometimes being substituted for a piece of pink cloth. Ghostface's Mori originally included a flip phone instead of the camera we now have. His name was also originally going to simply be the Ghost, instead of the Ghostface. On the Ranger medkit, an ID tag can be seen. It's unknown what this reference is. Due to the rarity of the item and the V in the ID, it possibly belonged to Vigo, further suggesting his last name may begin with a K. Many of the survivor characters are parents, however only one killer, the Oni, is a parent. The Oni has a son named Akito, referenced in the Akito's Crutch add-on. There is an unused offering rarity named Spectral Rarity, which is tinted blue. There is further a spiritual rarity, with a similar blue color. The Cannibal and the Hillbilly once shared the same add-ons. It was only in the 4.1.0 patch where they were separated more clearly. For example, the Carburetor Tuning Guide, originally a green add-on, shared by them both, was made into an ultra rare for Cannibal, and altered into the purple tuned Carburetor add-on for the Hillbilly. Many of the things mentioned within the lore are actually real. For example, the University Spirit attends, Takamatsu, and the awards Felix receives, the Swiss Architect Medal and the German National Design Award. There is a pig on a unicycle on the exit gates of the Coldwind Farm realm, which according to the devs is named Hamlet. If you play Dead by Daylight on the Epic Games launcher, you'll receive the exclusive Kabuki Grin charm of Artifact Rarity. This charm is the only charm of this rarity available to the wider public. Every hook on the game features the numbers 3, 52, 20 in red lettering. This is a reference to the first Saw, where Zepp Hindle is looking into the test room through a monitor. The numbers 3, 52, 20 briefly appear, however they do not remain. It's kinda odd why these were chosen specifically, but this is almost definitely what it is referencing. Hooks used to spawn within the trial based on the killer. This was changed however to make them instead realm specific, in order to stop people from identifying who the killer was before the killer found someone, particularly important for stealth killers. This explains some of the hook designs resembling the killers more so than the realm they belong to. Offerings have different interactions depending on what is offered. When offerings stack with one another, the offerings will shake on screen. If an offering flies away, it is discarded. If it is burnt, it has been applied to the upcoming trial. Hitting the great skill check zone repeatedly on skill check wiggles will result in a 1 second faster escape. Throughout the maps that have been through a Realm Beyond visual update, a series of teddy bears wearing white and blue stripy jumpers can be found, often seeming out of place with their surroundings. Oni's Fire Moon Warrior cosmetic lights up with what looks to be star constellations whenever he enters Blood Fury. On Midwich you can hear a girl crying in the bathroom stall. Whilst many of the killers slam the doors of a locker after searching it, the executioner closes the doors. How nice of him. Lightborn, whilst primarily protecting you from the beams of flashlights, further protects you from the effects of blast mine, flashbang and dropped firecrackers. However, it will not protect you from the stun that results from blast mine, only the duration of the blinding effect. Due to issues with the A Nightmare on Elm Street license, the perk icons of the Nightmare and Quentin Smith did not immediately appear on Switch or the Windows Store, instead being replaced with generic images, much like Stranger Things and its perk changes. Before console platforms received Bill Overbeck, they also had generic icons for his perks, such as Unbreakable. Each of Kate's perks are references to her song lyrics, the flavor text containing longer sections of the songs. In a similar way, Jeff's perks and their flavor text describe his artwork. On the Tome V Nea shirt named Truth to Power, musical notes are visible. When these notes are played, it creates the opening of the Dead by Daylight main theme. After completing the generators in the chemistry lab and music room on Midwich Elementary, and finally starting the endgame collapse, a secret room will appear, opening up in the clock tower and revealing a chest. On the Eyrie of Crows map, the burning barrels typically found around most of the realms are replaced with these elevated fire pit things. I don't know what to call them. Also on this map you can find the artwork of the artist, or Carmina Mora. The Tome 3 charm Astral Entity Abstract is described to be a conceptual model of the entity. Interestingly, this shape is very similar to that of the Observer's Aurus. When pausing the game, you can see the area in which you are in, listed beneath the main map name. Sometimes for a regular tile, this simply appears as a random string of numbers. However, when inside larger and fixed structures, it'll be a more coherent phrase. Alright, well, that's gonna do it. Thanks, and goodbye.